What is up? What is up? What is up?
There's McTggart.
Hey.
Hello.
Wow, Wickman got a surgery done. He looks way better now.
Wickman, we told you about whipping that out on camera.
That facelift did him some good.
Looks a little blue. You might want to release your grip a bit, too.
Yeah, I was going to say. You're choking that poor bastard. Rudy's Barbecue. You don't have Rudy's Barbecue there.
Colorado Springs.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like Rudy's Barbecue. It's going to sound funny to say this, but since we're talking road trip and road trip food is appropriate, Rudy's Barbecue, their smoked turkey is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Turkey is on point there.
Yeah, way on point. Like, oh, yeah, I love that. Now I'm hungry. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's edition of Powershift. We are talking road trips tonight, and unlike our norm, because it seems like all the time, other than when we talked about Power Tour, it seems like every road trip we talk about anymore is related to a drag and drive or whatever. So Crosby actually had the idea of bringing up road trips tonight. And so I want to talk about not only like dream road trips, maybe that we've done or that we want to do, but also like ones we did maybe as kids or a long time ago that made us into the weirdos that we are, where we like to drive very long distances for road trips. Although I will say people need to, they need to think about short road trips as well. You know what? People sit around and go, God, I don't know what to do this weekend. Dude, get in the car and drive a couple hours. Like, you can drive a couple hours from home, 3 hours, 4 hours from home, have a nice dinner, a lunch, whatever, and still make it home that night. You don't even have to stay the night somewhere. But if you're smart, you'll go and, leave on a Saturday morning early and then stay the night somewhere Saturday night and come home on Sunday. So just saying. Anyway, Otis likes road trips, and he's sitting right there. saying, I'm done with the road trip for the day. I'm sleeping.
I will say that the timing of this couldn't be more appropriate, and I just realized it.
That's awesome. Okay, well, tell us why I need to turn on because it's very so.
What?
I'm going to remove myself for a second, and you guys talk amongst yourselves on the on why that is like super. Oh, actually, no, it is. It was my computer. So I actually look good at what you're saying.
The problem is I can't explain what this is with you gone. That's the screwed up part.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm in. Go ahead. McTee, start it off. Why is this like totally the appropriate thing we need to be talking about?
Because we are within a couple days time frame of being 15 years since you and I met.
Oh, well, yeah, because hashtag Bonneville, which I am on my way to. So, yes, I will be on the salt Saturday morning, like by noon, I'm figuring. I'll be out there. It officially kicks off at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and
By the way,
I'm looking forward to it.
I just want to say that flat.
Yeah, I know.
I've been once and I have been back. So the way this works,
I am lucky because I am going to be doing this on the cheap this time, so staying with friends and what have you. So it'll be good. Hey, I know Crosby's been to Bonneville, not in a few years, but many times over the years.
Been a while.
Wickman, have you been to Bonneville yet?
Not yet. Being that I live as close as I do now, I did plan on going this year. Had time off approved, and then they decided to do surgery on my hand. So I'm having surgery on Tuesday. So I am. I spent the side note. I spent the afternoon in the ER today with some other stuff, and they weren't able to prescribe me anything because of surgery Tuesday. So basically, I cannot have any pain meds, anything like that before next.
You'll forgive us, folks that are watching, for the lack of concern that any of the three of us have. That's not because we don't love Wickman and care about him, but it's because Wickman spends an awful lot of time.
Well, I did plan on.
Although it has been a few months since you sent me a picture of your feet with a hospital TV on the wall, because that's my normal. I just get Wickman's feet and a hospital room and a TV. Like, that's when I know.
Yeah, but you can tell that you two are friends because he doesn't charge you for the feet pics.
So, but there's a number of fires burning in the area that I'm in, and smoke had basically destroyed air quality, and still dealing with COVID that I had a month and a half ago. So my lungs just did not want to work today.
Gotcha.
So there's 5 fires within like a 25-mile stretch. So basically, like there's one now south of Vandermeer, a couple miles. The Ken Carl exit where everyone stays during Rocky, it's like right across the street from there.
Oh, really? Right across the freeway?
Yeah.
I know the place.
Then there's 3 others. 3 others from there, from Vandermeer up to Longmont. So where I live, basically all that smoke is settled in that trough, so to speak, the base of the foothills, and yeah.
So I'm doing a little checking as to how far it is for each of you guys to get to Bonneville.
But it's
and for Wendover, Utah is where I'm going for. So Wickman is at 654 miles from Morrison, Colorado.
I think it's like 8 hours.
Yeah, 9.5. Yeah, and then Crosby is 600 miles, also 9.5 hours. And what's funny is if you drove from Morrison, Colorado, to the wonderful world of Wendover, from Morrison, which for those of you that are at home and don't know, that's just south of Denver. West of Denver. Sorry. You would be in far more populated areas between Denver and Wendover than you are going from Ontario, California, which is a suburb of Los Angeles, to Wendover. And the reason for that is that just north of Vegas, in fact, just one exit north of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you get off on 93 to go to Bonneville from Southern California. And 93 takes you through some of the most desolate lands on Earth. Maybe not on Earth, but in the state of California for sure, and Nevada. It is
If they're
unreal.
station open, fill the tank up.
Oh, yeah. So I have a story about that. So the first time I went to Bonneville to race, so it was the second time I actually went to Bonneville, but it was or third maybe. Anyway, it was me and Freiberger. Freiberger and I are in his Dodge truck. We've got the enclosed trailer behind it. We have the Camaro in it. And we are bonsaiing along, and we get on 93. And, the V10 in his 3/4 ton Dodge, not so miserly on the fuel. And I'm driving along, and I said, dude, should we stop here for gas? And there was, at the time, there was a gas station, okay? A single gas station between the 15 and Ely, Nevada. And so we're getting to it, and we had like just over a half a tank, and Freiberger's like, no, there's another one up here. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, it'll be fine. There's a Sinclair. Yeah, your ass, there was a Sinclair. So anybody who knows that when you get close to Ely, you go up a hill, you get right before you start going up the hill, you get to a spot where you have to make a left. We made the left and went approximately a quarter of a mile, maybe a half a mile, and the truck decides it can't run on air alone, and so it dies. I'm driving, I pull over onto the shoulder, which is not the same width as a Dodge truck, let alone an enclosed car trailer, and we sit there. By the way, there's no cell reception there. There is now. There was not then. And we sit there and we hang out for, I don't know, not long, actually, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes. And here come two dudes in a work truck. And they are in like some Ford, or I don't even remember what it was, but with a big work body, like work bed on the back of it, big utility bed. And we're like, dude, we need gas. Do you have any gas? Nope. We're like, we have a thing to siphon some. The guy's like, totally cool. Now, we're just lucky it was a gas-powered truck, right? So Home Slice is like, you're welcome to get the gas out. So we grab one of the race fuel jugs that, of course, has no fuel in it. And we proceed to try and siphon out. Well, a little flappery chingadera, okay, wouldn't allow the end of the siphony thing. It was one of those shake it, the jack off kind. It was one of those, and it wouldn't fit in there. Dude did not care. He's like, my boss can kiss my ass. I'm not leaving you guys here. And so stuck a screwdriver in there and pried the whole end of the gas tank open to be able to get the hose in there. And we were able to, we only needed to go like 5 miles. It was nothing, but it was all uphill. And so we got enough fuel, and then that dude followed us all the way into town until we coasted, or, could coast into the gas station. And I looked at Freiberger and I was like, dude. And so from that moment on, yeah, when there's gas, you get gas going through Ely, or going through the desert, going to Ely, Nevada. Let me tell you.
What was that little radio station right through there that only played with like 5 watts of power?
Yeah, it was only from Ely. It was Ely's radio station. And you knew you were getting close to Ely because it only started working like 20 miles from Ely. And I mean, and it's hundreds of miles across this desolate, like, it's weird. I'm going to call it the desert, but which it is, but there are also trees and cows. Oh, yeah, by the way, signs everywhere, unguarded cattle crossings, because there's open land out there with just cattle on it. So, dude, you think hitting a deer is bad, dude? Don't touch a cow with a car. That's a bad deal. So
The car will come to a stop, and the cow will just look at you angry.
Yeah, and you'll be looking at him from the opposite side at which you approached, because it will have launched you out the windshield and across the top of said cow.
It's hard to believe Randall lived there all those years.
I know. Yes, I used to stop in there and say hi to Randall. The funniest thing about, like, Ely, Nevada, if you guys are not aware, is this little tiny town up in the mountain. It's known because it has a big giant mine there, which our buddy Randall worked at as a geologist there. Now he works at a mine in the Reno area. But I remember Randall coming down to Vegas for Streetcar Super Nationals one time, and he came down and he hung out with me up on the scaffolding, and he did the chat on the live stream while we sat there. And I said, dude, I'll buy you dinner, and you got a place to stay and everything. Come hang out. So we had rain, and so there was going to be a big delay. So me and Randall left the racetrack, and I don't remember, we went to get something, like went to Walmart or whatever. And I said, dude, what do you want to eat? Because it's going to be hours before the track is dry. So what do you want to eat? I'll buy you steak dinner. I'll buy you whatever you want for dinner. Thanks for coming and helping out. And it was hilarious because he's like, no, I want Jack in the Box. I'm like, what? He goes, dude, there's McDonald's, and I think at the time it was McDonald's and like Dairy Queen.
Or Del Taco or something, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was all that was in Ely. But there were regular restaurants. He's like, I can get a steak dinner at any of the steakhouses in the 3 casinos. He goes, but I can't get Jack in the Box. And I'm like, okay. So we walked into Jack in the Box, and I mean, I was dying. He's like, got an ultimate cheeseburger meal or whatever it was. And the thing too is, I remember the lady going like, you want to upsize that, to a large or whatever. He's like, no, that's fine. I'm like, I'm buying, dude. You're getting the large. It's fine.
But yeah, that was funny. It's like when he was living
heading home from the bar.
When he was doing those trips to, was it Fontana or wherever it was he was originally from?
Yeah.
That was always his 2 stops was like Jack in the Box and like In-N-Out or Del Taco. Like, it was like those.
Right. Well, it's funny. Lycan says, I had a Jack at 3 a.m. this morning. The only time it's good is when you've had a few. I like that.
So
Lycan says a friend of his hit a Buffalo with a Subaru. Oh,
yeah. 3,500 pound car versus 6,500 pounds of very
right.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, I will tell you that yes, that trip is crazy, but it is worth going. If you have never been to Bonneville, you need to. Again, it starts Saturday morning at 10 a.m. officially. People are already heading out onto the salt today and tomorrow. And there will be the unofficial Nugget Car Show will start tomorrow night. The official Nugget Car Show is Saturday, and it will be even bigger. But Saturday and Sunday are pretty big up there. And then things start to taper off as far as spectators go on Monday. But Speed Week goes all the way until next Friday. So a week from tomorrow is the end. I'm planning on being there through Tuesday, I'm flying out Tuesday, I should say. If something amazing is happening, then I'll extend the trip. But generically speaking, I'm going to be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday shooting a bunch of photos. So my first photo gallery will go up on Saturday afternoon. So you guys can make sure you guys get to see all of the awesome content that we'll have up from the event. So, yeah.
How much salt do they have?
I have not heard about the thickness. I didn't even look at that. I only looked
No, I'm
at
talking about mileage.
miles. 9 clear miles is what I was told. 9 smooth clear miles. So I do not know if it has rained in the last week up there. It was dry a couple of weeks ago when they started. What people don't know is that the people that are on the staff that like are and they are volunteers, mostly retired people, they get paid like a few dollars a day and their hotel rooms are covered, and they get fed, and that's it. Some of these people are up there for a month, and a bunch of them for 2 weeks because they have to lay out the course. They use a drag and a wheel packer on the course. And when I say the course, by that I mean as many as 4 courses, but at least 2 or 3, usually 4. And it's, I mean, you're talking about miles and miles and miles. And then they also have to prepare the return roads, and the pit roads and the pit area and all of those things. And there are stakes and flags and, and the caution tape and, parking areas and staging lanes and all of those things on a surface that is, not a racetrack the rest of the year other than, the World Finals. So, it's a big deal, and it's awesome. Those people that go out there and work their asses off for that is really cool. So totally appreciate it. So yes, you should go. And somebody asked me today about how does one go to Bonneville? Just drive off the end of the road. Actually, before you get to the end of the road, you can pay your money. And I believe it's $20 or $25 for a day. I believe it's $50 or $60 for the week for a pit pass. And I don't know. I'm a media, so we don't pay. And I just can't remember. I haven't been in the last few years. But anybody can go. It's open to the public. So, and when it's not Speed Week, it's also open to the public. It's a national, park, basically. So you can drive off the end of the road. I would say that you need to be very specific. If you go there, you want to drive off the end of the road, not the sides of the road. The sides of the road, there are areas that look firm, and you might see tire tracks out there. But if it has been wet anytime within the last couple of weeks or not, it may not be firm enough for what you're driving. And it costs a lot of money to get towed out of there. The big deal, though, is if you drive off the end, even if it's flooded right there at the end, there's a low spot, so it maybe have some water in it there. As long as you can see a dry strip and it's solid white. The key is bright white is where you want to be. You do not want to be in the gray stuff. Gray means thin. Thin is bad. Potash is no damn good. You want salt. So, yeah. But anybody can go. So come on down. We'd love to see you. Okay, so McTggart brought up the Bonneville road trip.
Are we back on track, or are we done?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. You can continue if you have more.
This is the Mighty Chat, folks. We don't want to tangent 30 minutes later. We're good. It's all good.
Normal.
So the way that nice change of pace. Usually it's me. So the trip where I met him on, that was July and August 2009. So I'll try and keep the story simple. I had just gotten back from Iraq. I have come back to bad situation at home. I basically just walked up to my superiors and said, I want a month off. And for reasons I will never question, they just said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So at the time I had an 06 Monte Carlo SS, one of the front drive V8 ones, shoved all my shit into it, and just decided I was going to drive around the country is exactly what happened. I left Fort Lewis, Washington, drove through Twin Falls, Idaho, stopped in Colorado Springs for a few days, drove out to Southern Illinois where my family's at. And the original plan after that was going to be to go back to Colorado Springs, then go out to California. And Keith Turk hit me up on Facebook and basically said, yeah, Bonneville's going on. Why not come out here? Okay, good enough call for me. So I took a southern detour, and I went. Where is it? I'm digging up maps right now to make sure. Basically, took I-70 to Green River, Utah, which is one of those last gas for like 150-mile deals. Crossed up to Provo, up into Salt Lake City. Had just a quick dinner that night, and then took I-80 all the way across to Wendover. And that year there was a wildfire on the north side. There were 90-mile-an-hour winds blowing through. That was the most frightening couple. I think it's like 130, 140 miles between Salt Lake and Wendover. Mm-hmm. And I did all of that at triple-digit speeds, dodging every bit of traffic I could. We're talking, there's enough wind that I saw a couple semi-trucks go on their sides.
Oh, yeah.
There's enough wind where when you're passing a semi-truck, you get that aerodynamic blast once you get the front leading edge.
Oh, yeah.
I was moving the car a foot, a couple feet either way off the lane. So I get Wendover. I pull off at the gas station right there as you hit the exit. Step out of the car, the wind's still up. Go into the gas station for the restroom, and wind catches the door and it throws my entire body into the front end of somebody's Chevy Tahoe with a bull bar on it. Wind up bruising a rib. I go out, I park in, I'll screw the terminology up, the curve in the road, is that right?
The bend in the road. Yep. Yeah, close enough. Everybody would know what you were talking about that knows, but yes.
Yeah.
The bend in the road.
Park out there. Basically couldn't sleep because I'm in pain. I'm nauseous from the food I ate. But at midnight, when it is clear and there's a full moon, I only saw the day where everybody comes in and they do their tech inspection. I didn't see a single ounce of racing the entire time I was there. I got to see the car show, the pre-day car show. I got to see people timing tuning. I got to talk to a lot of people. But the best part of Bonneville to me was going out at 1 a.m. when nothing is going on and it's just the salt lit up on moon. I'm good. Honestly, if I never see it again, that's still good for me.
Oh, I tell people all the time, whether you're religious or not, like, you go to Bonneville, it's the closest to God you're ever going to be. It is weird in all the right ways, like sunrises, moonlight, everything out there is just a trip because there is nothing out there. It is just this giant white expanse, and people will go, oh, it's sort of like being in the snow. Yeah, but it's not the same.
I equate it to being on the moon. If nothing's going on, there's not a single ounce of noise. That's the closest you're ever going to come to being Neil Armstrong. That's what it is.
Biggest clue.
I'm sorry?
The biggest clue when you go out there for everybody, put suntan lotion where you never thought of putting it before.
Yeah, I was going to say, white reflects upwards. Just think about that before you put your shorts on, all right?
Why do you think I wear shorts that are this long? Come on. Yeah. The light can't get up there.
Is that how you tan your balls?
Yeah, tan. He comes out looking like Red Lobster in ways.
It's fine. It's fine.
So, that night I camped in the Monte Carlo. Like, I folded the seats down, feet in the trunk, head up on the back seats, worked out. Next day, Randall and another friend of ours, Jim Forbes, we met up, and Jim basically had a conniption fit that I was camping in my car. So that night after the car show is basically kicking and screaming, you're going to sleep in our hotel room and relax. Next morning, I got a phone call basically saying you have until tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to be at Fort Lewis because command said so, which means I got screwed. And as I'm getting ready to leave, Keith texts me. He's like, hey, Chad and Freiberg are at the gas station out here. Move your ass if you want to meet them. So, of course I do, because I need to fill up anyways, and I want to spray some of the salt off. Meet Chad. Chad basically decides that David's breakfast is now my breakfast, and I'm on my way. And I made it from Wendover to Fort Lewis in about 10 hours.
And how far is that?
I actually have to...
I'll find out. Hold on. So, Wendover. So I'm on all the maps right now.
Okay.
So Wendover to where?
Parkland, Washington.
To Parkland, Washington. Parkland, Washington. Boom. Okay. That is 822 miles. It says that is a 12 and a half hour drive. So if you made it in 10, now that's 12 and a half hours of driving. So if you made it in 10, including having to stop for gas at least one time in that whole deal, then you were hauling all the mail. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can guarantee you I was triple
That's
digits
about a
all the way
93 mile an hour average.
Right.
I guarantee you I pulled a hell of a lot better than that.
That's awesome.
I said
Well, yeah,
average.
average.
I said average.
Yeah.
Hey, I drove from Morgan Hill, California to Rowlett, Texas one time. It's 1,748 miles, I believe it is. I'll tell you right now.
Well, you're looking at that total trip was 6,029 miles
Wow.
in 1
Damn.
month. And
So
that's just
I
one
drove
month.
our Corvette from Morgan Hill to Rowlett, Texas one day. Let's see. Yes, it
It's been a
is.
week one day driving across Texas.
So we went the southern route. Okay, it says it's 1,773 miles. I'm 90% sure it was 1,748 from my driveway to my grandma's driveway. And we made it, we left like at 7 p.m. or something like that. And I asked my grandma what she was making for dinner the next day when we left. And she was like, why are you going to be here? I'm like, yes, I am. And we were there in time for dinner. What's interesting is we drove some incredible speeds until we got to Pecos, Texas. By the way, Pecos, Texas, the site of the world's first rodeo. Also a place that didn't have email or a fax machine until like 2005. So in 1996, I believe it was, 97, I guess it was, when they wrote me a ticket, they had no way for me to handle any of the paperwork remotely. So that was entertaining. And they invited me to come back, and stuff. So that was awesome. But from Pecos, Texas to Rowlett, we didn't do more than 5 over the speed limit because I was a chicken at that point. I was scared of the popo. So yeah. Okay, so that's a dude. You were hauling the mail. There's no doubt. Okay, so I mean, that was a crazy road trip, but Wickman, what's your like favorite road trip or your dream road trip that you'd love to do?
Dream road trip. I'm lost on that one. I mean, I've done so many of them. I mean, going across country, going to back and forth between. I mean, I've gone as one time I was in Anaheim Hills and I drove straight through to Mobile, Alabama, which is just over 2,000 miles, to go see my girlfriend at the time after selling my 61 Chevy. Literally
from California to Alabama.
Yeah.
That girlfriend is no longer, I mean, she's not your wife because she didn't live in Alabama. So, okay.
But yeah, I sold my 61 Chevy, actually sold it to a guy in Oxnard, drove back to Courtney's house in Anaheim Hills, kind of like said hi and bye and hit the road and drove straight through to where I was at in Houston, dropped off the trailer, the truck and trailer, got in my other truck, unpacked my bag, repacked my bag, took a quick shower, hit the road, and was in Mobile, Alabama 7 hours later. And that was 31 hours total.
Dude, that's the longest booty call on the planet.
It was her birthday, so it was just one of those.
There's so many things I can say right there. Oh my God.
I'm not even touching that one.
I know, me neither. Oh God, I bet she loved the president. Anyway, okay, so I have to say, so the reason that I do road trips is I blame my parents and my grandparents. I mean, because I grew up doing like, this sounds weird, but like we drove a Class C Chevrolet big block powered motorhome um, from California to Florida and then up the East Coast to Washington, D.C. and back when I was like 2 years old. Um, and we did that kind of stuff all the time. When I was 8, I got out of school a week or 2 weeks, or I think it was a week early, and we did a trip that I'll show the one way portion of this trip. It was me and my mom and dad, grandma, and grandpa that went to um, the World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee. And we spent a full month on the road. So we went from Morgan Hill, California, where I lived, headed south, through LA into Phoenix, El Paso, etc., to Pasadena, Texas. Why? Why would we go to Pasadena? Who knows?
Gillies.
Gillies Club,
Please, dude, there you go.
which
So
I actually got to go in there at one time.
Yeah, it was the real Gillies, not
Yeah.
now fake Gillies, but this was where it really was. We went to Gillies. They didn't bat an eye at me going in at 8 years old. I mean, it was the middle of the afternoon, but still. My grandma and grandpa and my mom sat there and had a drink, and we hung out and, got shirts and hats and all the things, and then left there and went to New Orleans, and then left New Orleans. Along the way, we also went to San Antonio, by the way, one of the finest cities in Texas. No, you're an idiot. San Antonio is great. We'll discuss this later. Went to New Orleans, left New Orleans, and went to Mountain Home, Arkansas, which is where my Aunt Doris lived. And on our way there, we went through Little Rock and dumped my grandma's little Honda that we pulled behind the motorhome. My grandpa had a Pace Aero Class A motorhome. And we pulled this little Honda CVCC, and we dumped it off at the airport. And my dad landed, we'd been on the road for a week already or something like that, week and a half. He landed in Little Rock, got the car, drove it to my Aunt Doris's. We were there a day or two or whatever. And then we went to Knoxville for the World's Fair. So that would have been in 1980. And the World's Fair was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it was awesome. I don't remember for sure what our route back was. I'd have to think on that. But this portion of the trip alone was 3,500 miles. So I'm sure that the whole trip was 7,000 to 10,000 miles. And it was awesome. We had a great time. I remember it well. And, I don't know, do people take their kids on long trips like that anymore? I mean, I feel like they go 2 hours a day and that's
I don't
it.
think so.
We did numerous ones. So I know when I was probably 4, we did Colorado Springs to Western Pennsylvania, and it was my stepmother and me and my brother in an 84 5-ish Escort, and my dad in an 82 Jeep CJ. And
so 2 cars.
2 cars, that's it. Just hitting little spots everywhere, cutting through Southern Illinois, then up to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We did another one where it was my great-grandfather, my mother, one of my aunts, my brother, and me in an 89 New Yorker hauling a Coleman pop-up camper from Southern Illinois to Washington State, Western Washington.
I love it.
And then there was the one that I can only talk about now, mainly because my dad's passed on. It was south of St. Louis to the junction in Wyoming where I-25 links up. And it's me and my brother with my dad and the guy I was team driving with in a Kenworth. That is the most roomy vehicle I've ever road tripped in because I was like 4'8" and big truck. But no, there's no issue with hauling the kids. It's mainly a matter of will the kids sit down, shut up, and be good.
Right.
I don't know.
I gotta say, here's a great one. Well, Tim says, I had a very eventful road trip whilst on my way to Sturgis. The bike broke in Casper, Wyoming. Tell Crosby broke down bagger rides again. This one is good. So this is Bill Fowler, a buddy of ours who we have done lots of road trips with. He says, epic drives are fun. I did one with a buddy in a new to him Jaguar XJ12 from Fort Lauderdale to Tucson. It involved gunfire, explosives, an epic trans fail. Jag, what a shock. And a night we still refer to as the Bourbon Street Massacre. That's awesome. That is awesome. I love it. Oh, God.
That's a little backstory on the Tim saying the broke down bagger.
Yeah.
He had his license plate made up that says BDB GR BAGR. And I go, what's that for? Broke down bagger?
I like it.
But yeah, so, most of the trips I've been on is basically being in the military, going from Texas to San Diego, or when I was living in Phoenix, going up to I-40, then across New Mexico. So it's like most of my stuff's been in the Southwest. I've only had a handful of trips east, but
I've been in every state in the Union except Alaska, and I have driven to all of the contiguous 48 at least once. I think twice actually now, to every single one of them. So I'm up to
32 states. I mean, there's areas that I really like to drive. Pennsylvania is. I didn't do a long drive through there, but I meant what I drove in Pennsylvania when I was there for work was, just amazing. The back roads and just the scenery.
Toll roads.
Yeah, you were in Western Pennsylvania because you were nowhere near anything metro.
Yeah.
Western Pennsylvania is beautiful.
I did. Yeah. I just came back from being in Clearfield, Pennsylvania, where UMI Motorsports Park is, and that's, generically speaking, halfway between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. And it's beautiful there. I mean, it's just hills and trees and all the things, right? But it's really, really pretty. Like there's rivers, there's all these things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like there aren't like parks there. Like I know you can go down to certain rivers and do stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like in the West, every place there's all these national parks, the state parks and all this stuff. And it's not like that in Pennsylvania that I know of anyway. But it is pretty, but it's funny because I literally was on 80 and I'm driving along on 80 and there was a sign and it was at, I'm going to say 2,250 feet elevation. It might've been 2,275. I'm just going to call it 2,500 so nobody bitches at me like an asshole. But the sign said that was the highest point on 80 east of the Mississippi River. And I thought to myself, oh my God, you people live in the flattest places on earth. Pennsylvania, that's all hilly and stuff. Yeah. And that's the elevation of my house in Upland.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, when you lived up there, it was what? Almost 2,600 feet.
Yeah, it was legit. Yes. I'm not even kidding. That's not even up the hill. That's just, I mean, it is.
And it's 10 miles from my place.
Yeah.
I 975 or 1,000 feet at my shop. So in 10 miles, you go almost that much. Damn.
I just thought that was hilarious. I was like,
I think that's what it was because I've done so many trips where it's like literally like hours before you hit the next town, and driving in the East Coast, it's like you drive like 15, 20 minutes and you're in the next town. And it's all back roads. It's not straight. You really don't. It's kind of like you have to pay attention to your driving. It's not like you can just kind of zone out.
Right. Okay, I found the place. Okay, I was on this road on 80. I saw this. It is 2,250 feet. I was right.
Shit.
The highest point on 80 east of the Mississippi, elevation 2,250 nose bleeding feet.
Which means that my place.
Man, did you get lightheaded or what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was lightheaded because I was driving a damn Dodge. God.
You were lightheaded because you were drunk on oxygen.
God, I don't know what the hell. I'm telling. Don't even get me started on the Dodge.
I could go for some oxygen right now.
Don't give me. You could. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Crosby, tell me. I mean, you road tripped as a kid, so but you've road tripped all your life. So tell us, what's the dream road trip? What are like the memorable ones for you? You've been all over hell and gone.
Well, good or memorable?
Yeah, all the same. Whatever.
Well, I guess I'll throw in the Chad one, the original time that I rode with Chad.
That was great.
We had a great time.
We had a great time. We spent a week one night.
Out that well. It didn't start out that well.
Well, no. Well, but we made the best of it. It was fine. I mean, when you lose a water pump on a Flathead V8 in a 1940, what was it, a 48 Ford?
48.
Yeah, in a 1948 Ford, and you're at a gas station and you have almost no tools, you do what you do. I mean, I held the hammer that we used, a ball peen hammer, to literally hold up the side of the engine because
so I get the water pump off.
Motor mount. Yes. So
and then what's his name standing there saying, you know this thing doesn't have that many miles on it? No, how? He goes, because he got the bolt out of the front of the pump.
That's right. I forgot. And I'm literally standing there with a hammer handle prying up on a damn Flathead Ford so that Crosby can get in there. Because if I let go of this thing, it's going to smash the shit out of him.
And the only reason Frank from SoCal didn't come because he was sitting in the hot tub drinking wine.
Yeah, he was too loaded to drive.
He was too
so he sent somebody else. And we had
one of his guys.
75% of the tools you actually need to do the job. And we made it work. Holy shit. It was funny.
So that was in Goodyear. We made it from Scottsdale to Goodyear. And then that's when the water pump seized the fuck up.
It did.
And burnt the belt in half.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got back on the road.
He brought us a water pump.
Everything.
And belt. Oh, yeah, that's right. He brought both water pumps, belt, everything. Yes.
We get back on the road from Goodyear. How far is it from Goodyear to Rancho?
Hold on. I'm going Scottsdale to Goodyear first. So just so you guys have an idea of how not far we went, it's precisely 30 miles.
Yeah, I would say it's not that far.
Yeah. We left in the evening after going out for a lovely dinner with a bunch of people, which technically would have been better if we had left earlier, but at the same time, at least it was not hot outside. I will give that.
Well, it was the November one, so it wasn't too bad anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So then we went from Goodyear. I remember the gas station well. We went from
right
Goodyear,
by the Walmart.
Yes, to my house in Rancho is 320 miles. Well, not to my house, but to Rancho.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And Chad didn't shut up until we got to the fucking 15.
That's true. Which, well, was so an hour. Maybe.
I had zero warning from Brett about you and this, and he goes, so when did Chad finally get tired and stop talking? I'm like, you motherfucker. He knew it.
It was great because I was supposed to fly home. I wasn't supposed to be driving. I was supposed to be flying home because I was announcing the Good Guy show. But then I was hanging out with Brett and Crosby, and Brett's like, oh, you should ride with Crosby home in this thing because it'll be fun. I'm like, yeah, that'll be cool. No
Total.
problem. Call Daphne. Daphne's like, yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah. It was awesome, but it was
Everybody knew except Crosby what that plan was about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, remember Daphne saying, if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough.
Well, and you gotta put the whole thing into perspective, though. A pin drop in that car if nobody was talking. Is so
That's
quiet.
True. But keep this in mind also. This was a 100%. I'm not talking about pretty close. I'm talking 100% stock 1948 Ford. It wasn't lowered. It didn't have
37,000
original
miles out.
90% original paint, original interior. Like, this thing was nice, but fast it was not.
No.
So we did that trip. Okay, so it says it's 320 miles and it's 5 hours. Not when you're doing 55 the whole way.
And poor John was following us, remember, in the dually.
Yes, right. I forgot about that.
And he usually runs like 85, 90.
Yeah, but he was behind because we had the car fixed before he showed up at the gas station.
Yeah.
Like, he was starting off behind us. He was catching up. Yeah, so.
But then he still had to go to Ventura after that.
That's right.
At least you didn't have to do the grade out of Indio going to Phoenix.
That's true.
I've done that in that car.
Oh, no.
After I put the 5-speed in it.
Oh, yeah, the T5. Yeah. Yeah.
I drove that thing to Pleasanton 3 times.
Oh, yeah. If you own, I did one of the drives to Pleasanton with you in that. If you have a Flathead powered thing, bless your little heart. Okay. They are a flaming pile of 0 horsepower. They're cool looking, but they make 0 power. The only smart way to actually drive one regularly and have it be enjoyable, and it will be very enjoyable, is to put a T5 transmission behind it. Because it immediately feels like it makes twice as much horsepower, and it will go down the road at 75 miles an hour all day long if you've got that done. But if you
until you get to a hill.
Yeah,
to a hill.
Yeah, but it's okay because you don't care. You're fine. No, most of the people watching this
loaded deep. Go around.
Yeah, so you're in 4th gear going, please make it.
Sounds like my Volvo.
Lycan says that the reason that I went on that trip with you is because the TSA begged Brett to set that up.
No, I think Crosby pissed Brett off at some point in time. Brett just walked away and goes, all right, I got you.
That's too awesome.
Yeah, I had plenty of those.
Okay, but besides our wonderful trip from Arizona, what are some of your other favorite road trips?
Favorite road trip, I think, was that one year I rode to Daytona by myself.
Oh, yeah.
And it was quiet. It was pleasant. Didn't have it with. And I did 1 year where this guy rode with me, and I about killed him. He put his bike on a truck and sent it home.
Oh, really?
Because he didn't want to ride with me anymore. Because I'm the same way on a bike as I am in a car. I'll go until it gets dark on a bike. In the truck, I'll keep going.
Right.
At least 600 miles a day.
Yeah.
Did Daytona in 2.5 days.
Right. Well,
and
here's the problem
for the faint of heart and the light of butt is not for the weak at heart.
Right. Well, but here's the thing: if you're on a bike, like the freedom of being on a bike is that you can stop easier and quicker and whatever anywhere you want to. Okay. But you can also just head down and motor along for a long time, because the worst motorcycle on the planet gets twice the mileage of a car,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can go a long way, right? I mean, how many gallons of fuel does your current bike hold?
5.2.
Yeah,
And it
so
gets
5 gallons, it gets 40 miles a gallon. You can go 200 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And all you need to do is get off that thing, rest your butt cheeks for 5 minutes while you fill it up, take a leak, get back on it, and off you go. You know? And that's just not a big deal. And the reality is, like, it's why I say people and their whole EV crap are just stupid, is because the reality is 200 miles to 300 miles is the magic distance in a car or on a bike or anything else that you want to get out. You want to get a little snack, you want to get a drink, you want to take a leak, and then you get back on the road. Like, that's the normal, So who cares? Like, you don't need something to go 600 miles at a stretch.
And Tim will disagree with me on this, I'm sure, and I'm sure he's listening. He's more apt to wanting to ride with multiple people.
Right.
People on bikes is like herding chickens. I don't recommend it.
Right.
Because they all want to stop at different times. Everybody's got a different agenda. Gonna go see this, gonna go see that, blah, blah, blah. Screw that. Go ride by yourself. If you're going to crash, you're going to crash anyway.
Right.
It's alongside you and put their foot and hold you up. So it is what it is.
Well,
so
and the other part about it is that it's like mini truckers, right? Which we're all mini truckers except McTggart. You go on a mini truck run, okay, and you're going to an event. The only way that works, and I guess this goes for any road trip, is you already have a plan. Like, you already have the agenda set out, right? And the beauty of it when you're going to a truck run or something is it's way easier because whoever is the furthest away from the truck run is going to drive to the next guy's place. And then those two are going to drive to the next guy's place.
Mm-hmm.
And usually that's just a leg's worth of trip anyway. And so you don't have 1,000 miles to go with the entire group. Okay. And everybody already knows where you're going. Those stops are set. And if you are driving 1,000 miles, like, you already plan it out. Like, it's just the mini trucker's way. You're like, okay, we're going to drive until we get to Winnemucca. And then we're going to go from Winnemucca to, wherever. And, to Phoenix, whatever it is. And that's the kind of thing that makes a trip way more enjoyable because it isn't annoying for everybody else, and you don't end up with the one guy that somehow he didn't get out of his car or off his bike to take a piss when you stopped at the gas station 30 minutes ago, but now he's got to go. That's the worst.
There was one year with this heat wave, and there was, I think, 7 trucks total. We met up at the shop there south of Houston, and had most of the people. Then we picked them up driving through Houston. We left at 10 o'clock that night to head to Round Rock to the house we're staying at. It took us 8 hours to get from south of Houston to Round Rock, which is normally a 3.5 hour drive, because of, hey, my truck's doing this, or it's like, I need to stop here. It's like, I need to pee. And it's like, because once one person pulls over, it's like, shit, what's going on? This is like before cell phones and walkie-talkies and all that. So one person pulls over, everyone pulls over, like, what's going on?
Right. And okay, so for the public's knowledge, I put in Baytown, Texas, because that is east and south of Houston. And from Baytown to Round Rock is 3 hours and 2 minutes. It's 191 miles.
Yeah.
So
we got there at sunrise, or a little after sunrise.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
No.
And if you were going to heat wave and you got there at sunrise, dude, that was going to be a long ass weekend. Because I'm telling you what, you saw daylight again. You didn't get to sleep unless you passed out.
we always took like a week off during heat wave, because we would like go up like Wednesday, and so everyone was like already there Thursday. Then we did like our pre-activities. Then we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then everyone went their ways on Monday.
Right.
So, of course, that's when Heat Wave was like 2,000 vehicles and the biggest show.
Mm-hmm.
Before Round Rock PD ruined it?
No, that was just one show. That was where
that was 2 years in a row of horrid. Yeah.
I thought it was only 1 year. I don't know.
No, it was 2 years. And then the mayor and the Chamber of Commerce for Round Rock threw a fit because everybody ended up wanting to move the show and everybody stayed outside of town. Because the first year, what they did was, when you got in the line, which was the right lane of that main road, and they had it coned off so you'd pull in the driveway into the show, the cops were sitting on the curb in the line, and then they had a cop at the very end where the line turned into the driveway, and they were radioing that cop and telling him to pull you out of the line after you sat in line for like an hour or 2 hours to get into the show. And they had him pull you out and then wrote you tickets for shit that was on your truck. And it wasn't cool because they were writing people up for being too low and all that stuff. But you were in the line to pull in. Like, nobody was going to lay their junk out in front of a cop. Otherwise, like, you felt like you were in safe space there because you were in the line to pull in. And, dude, everybody lost their mind. It was hundreds of tickets.
I was fortunate the last except for the one we went to a couple years ago. But the last one, when it was big, I was still at the Expo Center. So I got to see, experience, the last of the great ones. So
me too. I saw the last of the great ones, and then I was at the one where they pulled everybody out of line, and I didn't get it hit. But the second year I did get hit, but I didn't listen to the cop when he said to go straight. I turned in the driveway anyway, and they yelled and screamed at me. But they tried to say that stuff on my truck was illegal, and it may have been when they saw it, but it wasn't when they measured it.
Because Rob Rodell lived there in Round Rock, and we were always up there for little shows and stuff like that. And it was weird. It's we may have got pulled over once or twice, but it's it was always a warning.
Yeah,
because they knew the trucks, they always saw us. That it was for some reason they had this wild hair up their ass for this big show that was bringing in money. They wanted to harass everybody.
Yeah, and it was big money because there were. So there's 2,000 trucks, which means there's a minimum of 6,000 people, that came for that. And if you don't know Round Rock, it's this little suburb north of Austin that is little. They could use the money. And
it's not little anymore.
Yeah, not now, but it was. Yeah.
What's your trip?
Mine? Man, so I've been wanting to do a real fun road trip with mom and dad. And I want to do a California road trip again, which I know there are a lot of places in the country I'd love to go. Keep in mind, I have a dozen road trips in my head. But I'd really like to do either a south to north or, north to south trip again. Because a couple years ago when I went to announce EV Fest at Sears Point, I took my mom with me. And my mom hadn't been back to California in 15 years. And we we went to San Francisco. Sears Point is just.
When was that last time that we were at Northwoods? How long ago was that?
Oh no,
was she with us?
But yeah, she was there, but that was in Southern California. She hadn't been back home to Northern California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in forever. And so we went to San Francisco 2 days early. We totally did all the touristy stuff, and we had a spectacular time. It was an amazing trip. Then we stayed an extra day after as well, and we just had a great time. So I would like to do a north to south trip through California again. there's so much stuff in Southern California to do as a tourist as well. So even if it was just SoCal, would be great. But I like to do the whole deal. I would like to drive across the border and go to TJ. I haven't been to TJ in years. Daphne and I used to have so much fun going to TJ. I know, Crosby shaking his head. Everybody shook their head when we used to go all the time. Yeah.
It ain't the same. It ain't the same.
Really?
Not even close. Oh, it's
sucks.
nope.
TJ is awesome.
Not
it used to be.
Has so many.
I used to camp out at Rosarito, surfing. I wouldn't on a freaking bet do that anymore.
Really?
No way.
I love Tijuana in the early '90s.
Yeah.
There.
We went in. I mean, well, the last time Daphne and I went was probably 2015 or 16. I mean, we used to go probably 6 months. We would go and we'd go spend the day in TJ, and it was awesome. And we loved it. But so I'd
rather sleep in my truck in St. Louis with my wallet sitting on the dash.
Wow.
Oh, that's saying something. Don't even get McTggart started on St. Louis. East St. Louis. You have to admit the food. You have to admit
that's why I threw it in there.
I don't remember what the hell it was called, what we got, but it was uncomfortable to order.
It was the cooter.
It was the cooter. That's what it was, the cooter. What was the name of that place?
We're doing, I think it was Anarchy at the Arch. I may have the wrong race. But we go there, and it's one of these tracks where we have to supply the power. We have to run cables all the way out to where we're doing our live stream. And lo and behold, we don't have those cables. We got to go buy them. Ordinarily, that wouldn't be a big deal, except this is St. Louis right about the height of Ferguson. Not the best idea when both of you two look like marshmallows pulled out of the same damn bag. So, Chad knows.
I found the place. It is Big Mama's Barbecue.
Yes, Big Mama's Barbecue. Right across the street from the fucking jail. Right
literally across the street from the jail. And you can get a jumbo loaded cooter with fries. Jumbo loaded cooter fries.
That was delicious too.
I come back and all I hear is jumbo loaded cooter.
Oh,
with
dude.
Fries.
Loaded cooter fries.
It is covered. It is the sauciest cooter you'll ever eat.
It's great. The original cooter. Hold on. The original cooter. Pulled pork, pulled chicken, or 2 beef patties topped by a double cheese fry and our infamous homemade creamy chili flavored cooter sauce and green onions.
Delicious.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome. We'll be here all week.
Dragging me next to the prison at the height of Ferguson in East St. Louis after he found the world's most frightening true value of all time.
True.
One angry looking black lady that he immediately becomes friends with.
Of course.
It's got bald-faced hornet nests everywhere. We're talking like I can hold like my watermelon size hornet's nest everywhere. I'm sitting going, what the fuck are you doing?
We walk in, the music stops, like the whole thing. You walk into a little dining area, but there's still walk-up windows. And yeah, I become super good friend. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful. What the hell's a cooter? Like, I don't even know, because there's no
He actually asked that shit, and I wondered why I'm on the ground.
And I looked both ways, and I started to giggle, and I asked it, and then all the people in there started laughing. And I was like, hell yeah. And we ordered up a bunch of food and ate it on the hood of the car in the parking lot across the street from the jail.
Well, like Pueblo has that sandwich that's like different places around town that's called the slopper.
Yes.
I told you about that time me and not Snyder, but Mick went to the liquor store up there by Gingerman, right?
Yes, I've heard this story, yes.
So they don't sell cold beer in Michigan.
No.
So asked him,
communists.
Yeah, freaking assholes. So I asked this old dude, I go, where can we get some cold beer? And he goes, you ain't gonna like it. I'm like, well, where is it? I go, are we gonna get killed or something? He goes, nah, it'll be okay. And we're in the blue 66 Chevelle, Mick's driving.
I love that car.
And he goes, go make a left and then make another right, and it'll be on your left-hand side. So we pull up there, and it is in a totally black neighborhood. We pull up there, Mick stays in the car, in drive, foot on the brake, foot on the gas, waiting for me to come out. And I walk in there, and it was one of those moments. Because I was, other than the two whatever Middle Eastern guys were behind the counter, and behind them on the wall, there was like two pieces of wood and this sawed off shotgun with a sign that says, "Do you feel lucky?" behind it. So I walk over, grab my walk outside, and Mick, I couldn't get the door closed quick enough, and he's already leaving. He goes, "I can't believe you did that to me. I had to just shoot you now." Dude, you ain't dead.
Yeah.
He goes, "All this for cold beer." I'm like, "Oh, what? Nothing happened." He goes, "Man, you don't even know where the hell you're at." Pretty good idea. And they're probably just as surprised to see me as I am to see them.
Yes.
So
That's
who cares?
That's exactly it. That was precisely us when we walked into Big Mama's. And I mean, you ask McTggart because he's taller than everybody in the place.
No,
Looking
I
around.
wasn't. No,
Yeah.
no. You did
Oh,
not.
no,
I wasn't.
There were those dudes that were over. Yeah, you're right. I
Because all
forgot
three of them immediately looked up from their food and are like, I'm sitting there going, "Oh, this is how it ends. All right, cool." Chad's up there just cracking jokes and placing the order, and these three guys are trying to figure out what Sasquatch and the Garden Gnome are doing in their place. And
It was awesome.
next thing you know, Chad's turned this into fucking open mic night at the Apollo, and he's just running the joint.
But here's the point of all of these stories, though.
Hold on a second, though. The one guy that's actually been to hostile territory with people shooting at you is the most nervous.
That's
I've been
true.
in many places, not just over there, many places. Okay. So it's funny. I was going to ask this as a question, but I'm going to bring it up in a different way because of the way this is laid out. So my first road trip, I distinctly remember. It was somewhere between the 15th and 20th of December 2000. It was a 78 LeBaron for the car, which was the most bright idea I've ever had. And it was going from Colorado Springs to Southern Illinois. The first time I ever tried anything like this. And this is like winter weather. Everything from like Kansas City east is ice or snow or all of it. It had been cold ass day. I had pulled some shit that almost got me, shot at in Lyman. That's my own fault. I won't even address that. I got lost in Kansas City. Like straight up. If you're used to that interchange on 70 going east into Kansas City.
Yeah.
And this is, having a book next to you in the seat and, doing the glancing and trying. I got lost.
That's Missouri's fault.
Yeah.
See, because Missouri couldn't decide on their own name for a city across the border, so they just called it Kansas City, Missouri. So when you're in Kansas City and the signs say Kansas City and you don't know which one you're going to and the things, that's Missouri's fault.
No,
just blame it on Missouri. It's easy. They're retarded.
I know I'm still in Kansas.
But the signs were trying to prep you for Missouri. It's a bad thing.
You either go to Chicago or you go to St. Louis. And it's a big clusterfuck of an interchange. Somehow I got off 70 altogether. So it's not like I even took the wrong way and realized it and would have been okay. No, I wind up in the fucking hood.
That's awesome.
It's like one gas station. At this point, I'm a young and dumb card. I go walk into the gas station. This is 11:30 at night. Like I am trying to make my way to this truck stop in Middle Missouri. And I walk in. Old black dude sitting behind the counter. He just took one, looks at me, and I just went, "Look, dude, I'm lost and I need help." And he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, no shit."
Yeah, the Missouri River goes through Kansas City. Anything south of the river is shit.
Yeah,
you have to be out on the north side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But see,
anybody ever been to
on road trips? You'll never learn these things. And I have to say, like all of the adventures, even the little trips, like, dude, me and Crosby and Cole have, gone to Pleasanton Good Guys events and this and that, or even just down to Del Mar, which is literally, oh, okay, I'll tell you a great road trip was when McGregor was finishing Hellboy and he was going, which is his C10, the unibody truck. They were at the shop. Marcel, all those dudes were down there. Jason, everybody else thrashing on that thing. I was going to go with McGregor down to Del Mar because Daphne and the kids were going to drive down on Saturday and I needed to be there Friday or whatever. And that way we wouldn't have two cars down there. So I go to McGregor's shop. We're supposed to be leaving already. The truck isn't done. So we thrash on this thing until 2:00 in the morning. Then we load it up on the trailer, haul it to his house, get in his motorhome, hook his motorhome to the trailer. It's, it's 3:00 in the morning. Okay. 2:00 in the morning, whatever. We go and hook the trailer up to the motorhome. And McGregor grabs the cable to hook the lights to the back of the motorhome. And they're this much short. And he's like, they can see the lights on the motorhome just fine. I'm like, okay. So his lovely wife has everything loaded up in the motorhome. And she is already, Tina is already way past her bedtime. She has the dogs. We get in the motorhome and off we go. And she has said, you have to keep him awake, Chad. You have to keep him awake. So me and Rob, I'm like, oh, tell me the story of your life. Rob is talking away. We get all the way down to Del Mar, which, by the way, is only freeway for 70% of this thing. And then it's windy mountain roads to get into Del Mar. We go the windy mountain roads. We actually pass the road that we're supposed to turn on at one point. It's not even a 2-lane road. So we have to back this big bitch up 200 feet in order to make the left-hand turn. We get to the intersection at the fairgrounds and it's 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. We stop at the red light. I climb out of the motorhome with my suitcase. The light turns green and the motorhome drives away. And I walk the half a block to the hotel, dragging my suitcase behind me. Walk in to check in for the night before. And the woman goes, would you like a wake-up call? And I said, yes, I would. And she goes, okay, what time? And I said, 7 a.m. Because 7 a.m. was the latest that I could wake up and make it across the street to the show to start at 7:30 to announce the autocross. And it was 6:00 in the morning when I told her that. And she looks at me and goes, that's in an hour. And I said, that's why I need a wake-up call. So then I got to my room and had to decide whether or not I was going to shower first or when I woke up. But what was awesome is we get to the show, of course, Rob sleeps till noon, that bastard. Get to the show and somebody had seen me walking down the street with my suitcase and didn't realize that I had just gotten out of the motorhome at the intersection. So it was pretty awesome. But that was only a 3-hour road trip and it was still epic. So yeah.
So
how about when we went and picked up Cole's love truck?
Oh, that was excellent. It was awesome. We took the Ride Tech dually, went to Brett's, stayed the night, picked up Brett, and Andy was with us.
Yeah.
Brett, Andy, and me and Daphne and Crosby, and then we went south of Phoenix. And
no, Daphne didn't go with us on that one.
Oh, that's right.
She had to stay home. It was me, you, Cole, and Brett.
Andy and Brett.
And Andy.
And we had a good time. That was cool. Okay, boys, I gotta go because I got plans at 8:00, which is in 6 minutes, and that's only going to take me way longer than that to be ready to go. So it's fine. Remember Chad's rule: can't make an entrance if you're on time or early. How do you get the thing? I need a
This
thing
is
that
true.
makes like the little tink, on the little glint. I want that. Where's that filter? I want that so you can go. Right?
Let me know if you got that worked out.
I will. I'll find out. All
Well,
right,
you guys
boys.
have a good night.
You too.
Yep.
Good talking to you as always. Everybody out there that's watching. Randy Young says South Georgia Motorsports Park to Vegas in 2020. Ouch. That's a long damn drive, brother. Randy says Memphis at night is just sketchy AF. You ain't
You
kidding
didn't
there,
need to
brother.
stay at
You
night.
ain't kidding. Yeah.
Quit
Yeah, it doesn't
choking
even,
your chicken, Wickham.
Yeah. That is, it's pretty funny because his head's
Why
blown.
does it
I mean,
make
it
that
really
noise?
is.
Why?
It is. It's awesome.
All right. Speaking
Tell
of
your lovely wife we said hi, by the way, Wickman, because
Yeah.
She's in Branson, Missouri right now.
she's what?
She's in Branson, Missouri right now.
I was just there. I am so sorry. No. Is she having fun?
Yeah, she's with her mom.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Oh.
All right.
I'm not touching
I
that
hit
one
the road in the
either.
morning,
Nope.
actually. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys
All right.
for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. First gallery
Yeah,
of photos
thanks.
will be up from Bonneville Saturday afternoon on Bankshift.com. Don't miss it. It's that right there.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, boys and girls. Love you guys. See ya.
Be good or be good at it.
Bye.